channel. So this is going to be comprehensive review of the BMW i8, BMW's hybrid sports car slash supercar that was first released in 2014. So it was in production for 2014 until 2020. Initially, the coupe was released, which is the one that you see here, and then in 2018 they also released the roadster version. So this car is a hybrid, as mentioned. It comes with a 1.5 liter 3-cylinder turbo engine that produces 228 horsepower, and that's located in that's a mid-engine layout. So in front of the rear wheels, and obviously between the front wheels and the rear wheels, make it a mid-engine. And that petrol engine, the 1.5 liter, powers the rear wheels. And then you also have two electric motors that are at the front of the car, and those two electric motors power the front wheels. So this is an all-wheel drive car. The electric motors power the front wheels, and the petrol motor powers the rear wheels. And it's rear-wheel drive bias, 50-50 weight distribution. The car only weighs 3,300 pounds, so very light vehicle. And combined horsepower is about 370 horsepower and 420 pound-foot of torque, allowing this car to go 0 to 60 in 4.2 seconds. Quarter-mile time is 12.5 seconds. And electronically limited speed of 155 miles per hour. So let's talk about the design of this car. This car is absolutely gorgeous. It was designed by Benoit Jacob, and I remember when I first saw this car, this is one of the most stunning cars I'd ever seen in my life. I was at a Cars and Coffee event, and that's where I first saw the BMW i8 in person, and the car was absolutely stunning. Like, I mean, it was getting all the attention. You know, nobody was looking at the Ferraris and the Lambos. They were looking at this thing when it first came out. And what I remember most, you know, from a design perspective, is kind of this air channel right here. It made the car look so incredibly cool. But yeah, it's a gorgeous looking car. I guess we can start in the back. You know, you can tell this is a mid-engine car. Awesome lines. Again, probably my favorite sort of design feature is kind of this scoop here, this air channel that goes around there, like right through here. Looks really cool. Looks very futuristic, very sophisticated, very sleek. Yeah, just an absolutely amazing car. So I'm gonna let you enjoy that. The proportions are perfect. When you look at this car, it looks like it's moving even though it's standing still, and you can also kind of tell that it's a mid-engine car. It just looks like a supercar. It's wide, it's low, just wants to go fast. Amazing vehicle. Probably one of my most favorite looking cars of all time. So the way you open this car is you go over here. So it's got the scissor doors. It just kind of goes like that. Yeah, see that? Getting into it can be kind of tricky because you can kind of see how high it is right there. Nice thick doors. Yeah. Here's what the car looks like inside. There's the rear seats. They're not very big, but so put the doors down and then we'll go inside. Love this air inlet right here. So if you want to sit in this car, the best way to do it is to turn around and then kind of slide in. There you go. So you close the door this way. All right, so here we are inside of the car. The car looks as awesome inside as it does outside. Super high quality material, soft touch leather everywhere. So soft touch leather here, here, here. Oh, you know, soft touch leather up here. You got a beautiful steering wheel here, 3-spoke steering wheel. It's got massive 2 o'clock and 10 o'clock notches for your grip. It also feels good gripping it right here. It's got indentations for your thumbs, and of course you've got your you know, floppy paddles that you can be shifting with, and you know, touch button controls, things like that. There's where your, you know, headlights are, same as in most other BMWs. Your remote controls for the windows and the rear view mirror, and this is the button that you push for the door to rise up, so you kind of see what that looks like. Watch this. Just like that. Yep, pretty cool. All right, so put that back down. So you got quite a bit of storage. You got some storage here. You've got a couple of cup holders in the back. You've got another cup holder here. Some more storage here. Here's for your iDrive. You got your automatic transmission. I think it's a ZF automatic, and it works amazing, just like all the other ZF automatics do. You've got your different modes here. So you got your camera and parking. You can switch between eco and comfort. If you want to go to sport, you have to kick it over to the right. You can take traction control off. You can go exclusively in eDrive. And then this is your start stop button. Got heated seats, defroster, you know, your CD and things of that nature, air conditioning, and then here's your parking brake. This little compartment's pretty cool because you can just kind of lay your key right there, and you should be good to go. So car looks super nice. Got 2 vents over there for the passenger, 1 big vent here. The car kind of has that typical BMW cockpit feel, you know, where it's kind of arching towards you. Yeah, you feel like you're in the cockpit of a fighter jet, and you know, wouldn't expect anything less from effectively what was BMW's Halo car. Amazing car. So here we go. All right, now that we have taken this car out, or looked at the exterior and the interior of this car, let's take this car out for a test drive, and I can tell you a little bit more about its driving characteristics. Thanks, guys. What's up, guys? Welcome to GogoMotoring YouTube channel. So this is going to be the driving review of the BMW i8. This is BMW's hybrid sports car, supercar that came out in 2014. It was produced from 2014 until 2020, initially being introduced in coupe version, which is the one that I'm driving here. And then a roadster version was released in 2018. So kind of quick facts about this car. Again, as mentioned, this is a hybrid car, so it comes equipped both with a gasoline engine and electric motors. It's got a 1.5 liter 3-cylinder turbo engine that's in the middle of the car. It's a mid-engine car, producing 228 horsepower, and it was an engine that was used in a version of the BMW of the Mini Cooper that was released around the same time. And then it also has so that engine powers the rear wheels, and then it also has 2 electric motors that power the front wheels. those electric motors produce about 140 horsepower. So the total horsepower output between the gasoline engine and the electric motors is about 370 horsepower and 420 pound-foot of torque. The car doesn't weigh a lot, 3,300 pounds. So 0 to 60 in this time is 4.2 seconds. Quarter mile time, 12.5 seconds. The car is electronically limited to 155 miles per hour. The car has a near 50-50 weight distribution, as you might expect from a mid-engine vehicle. And even though it's an all-wheel drive car with the petrol engine powering the rear wheels and the electric motors powering the front wheels, there is a rear-wheel drive bias in this car. So let me kind of begin by just sort of answering the question of why am I reviewing this car in 2024. After all, this car was released 10 years ago now, which is crazy to believe, but it was released in 2014 and it ended production in 2020. So why am I reviewing it now in 2024? Well, the reason I'm reviewing this car now in 2024, there's two reasons. First and foremost, the price of these cars has come down significantly from when the car was first released. So this car was first released in 2014, as mentioned, and at that time, the starting price for this car was $135,000, which was a significant amount of money. It's still a significant amount of money to spend on a car, but especially back in 2014, before all the inflation and everything like that. Now, these cars, 2024, if you go on Auto Trader, you can find low mileage examples of these cars selling for $60,000, $70,000. So the price of this car has effectively been reduced in half. And even though $60,000 or $70,000 is still a lot of money to spend on a car, fact of the matter is that in this day and age, that's not a crazy amount of money to spend on a car, and it obviously is certainly more affordable than $135,000 that you have to spend to get into this car brand new. So the price of these cars has become more affordable, and therefore this car in this day and age may appeal to a broader number of buyers. The second reason I wanted to review this car in 2024 is that, as we all know, electric vehicles are becoming a commonplace. Pretty much every car manufacturer is starting to double down on producing its own electric versions of vehicles and things like that. I mean, that's definitely the direction in which the automotive industry is going. And the drawback with electric vehicles still remains the range, right? I mean, there's only you can only go 200-300 miles, maybe 400 miles before having to stop and recharge, and that recharging can take quite a bit of time. So if you're looking for a car that you can take on road trips, electric vehicles can be problematic in that regard, because you have to plan your trip around charging stations. You have to wait for the car to charge. This being a hybrid vehicle, you still kind of get the best of both worlds, right? You have the electric component, and even though the range of this car in full electric mode is not very high at 15 miles, about 15 miles of range on fully electric, you also have the option to take this car on road trips, because you still have a gasoline engine, and in that regard, the car operates like any other normal car would. So for those two reasons, I think that the review of this car is particularly relevant in 2024. And I'm going to conclude today's review by telling you whether I would recommend that you consider buying this car. But let's start by talking about this car's driving characteristics. So the car is amazing to drive. I mean, straight up, this car is a freaking blast. It is perfectly balanced, which is, I love that stuff. I usually drive cars on back roads like this. The car is perfectly balanced, has 50-50 weight distribution, mid-engine car with a rear-wheel drive bias. So in terms of when you're taking the car out on back roads like I'm doing right now, this is an absolute blast. The car is super planted. It corners incredibly well. It really makes you a better driver than you probably are, right? And that's probably a trademark of many BMWs. they're just such easy cars to get in and drive. Drive at the limit, you know, and this particular car is no exception. I mean, it's like a typical BMW in that regard. You sit in here and you feel like you're one with the engine, you're one with the machine. The car feels like an extension to of yourself. It really does. And I feel complete confidence driving this car on back roads like this. Like, I know exactly what the car's doing. The car's telling me what it's doing. So in that regard, it's incredibly fun to drive. The other thing that was interesting, maybe even kind of surprising for me when I first started driving this car is how easy this car is to drive. You know, when you see this car, it can look a little bit intimidating. You know, it looks like a supercar. It's got, you know, gull-wing doors and you know, mid-engine layout. The car looks like a supercar, like a Ferrari or a Lamborghini. I mean, it's basically in that realm in terms of looks. And sometimes, you know, those cars can be intimidating to drive, but when you sit in this car, it is so easy to drive in this car. It is so intuitive. You don't have to, you know, when I first got into here, I was a little bit kind of, I don't know if I would say concerned, but just wondering, hey, will I know how to operate this car? You know, it's got electric motors, it's got a gas motor, you got different driving modes. Like, is that a problem? Not an issue at all. Like, it's pretty much like getting into any regular BMW. And driving it, it's literally that easy to drive, and that's kind of nice, you know. Like, so the car has the benefit of it being like a supercar, so it's got, you know, the cool doors and the looks, and it's impressive when you see it. But at the same time, like, when you're operating it and with, you know, or within the car, it's very intuitive, it's very easy to use. So that's a huge benefit to me. I guess in short, it's a usable every. Supercar. From a, you know, steering feel perspective, you know, the car's got electric steering, and, you know, a lot of people have criticized that over the years, pretty much with every BMW since 2012, since it was kind of first introduced in mass numbers with the F30 BMW 3 Series. But I think at this point everybody's kind of gotten used to, you know, these types of cars, and I'm sorry, this type of steering. So it's not a huge issue, and I think it does a good job. Like, the steering does a good job of generally telling you, you know, what the car is doing. It's not as good as the hydraulic steering in my BMW 328i, but nevertheless, it still, you know, does a good job. Acceleration wise, you know, as mentioned, this car is pretty quick. 0 to 60 in 4.2 seconds. Quarter mile time in 12.5 seconds. So the car is super quick. You also kind of have some of that instant torque because of the electric motors. So that, you know, from a standstill, the car goes fast and it keeps going fast. The braking is also pretty good. So very responsive, like on the pedal when you need to make rapid stops. And yeah, so in that regard, again, just kind of what I've been saying is, very easy to drive, very intuitive, really a car that makes you feel like an extension of yourself. This is also a comfortable car. You know, when I compare this to my 2003 BMW Z4 3.0i, the suspension in this car is way more forgiving than it is in my 2003 BMW Z4. Like, if you know, when you see bumps on the road, you know, imperfections on the road, the suspension does an amazing job of absorbing those you know, imperfections, absorbing those hits, and allowing you to be comfortable as you drive here. You know, visibility wise, the car is really like very visible here. You don't have to worry about you know, you gotta have a full view ahead, and really the only kind of issue from a visibility perspective is if I turn to the right, there's a little bit of a blind spot over there in the towards the rear. So there is a little bit of a blind spot, but other than that, those two couple of blind spots, other than that, the car's you know, very easy to see out of, and you know, everything's clear. It's pretty comfortable too. You know, I'm a big guy, 6'3", and I got more than enough room in this car to, you know, get comfortable. You can adjust the seat however you want. You can adjust the steering wheel however you want. You can really find the perfect driving position in this car. Transmission's awesome as well. I think it's the ZF automatic, and just like, you know, all of those, it's seamless. You know, it's super responsive. Even in comfort mode, it changes gears pretty quickly, and you know, it's never sort of hunting for the right gear. You also have the option to, you know, go in manual mode like you would on any other BMW. So all in all, super happy with the driving characteristics of this car. This car could totally be a daily driver. Like I said, I mean, it has the ability to kind of change its characteristics. Driving, you know, if you want to push it, the car will listen to you, and you know, you can push it in the back roads. You can go super fast if that's what you would like to do. But also, if you want to just sort of have a chill drive, the car will do that just as easily. So as a daily driver, I would 100% recommend this car, provided that you don't need a more practical vehicle, right? So this is basically a two-seater. You got some rear seats in the coupe, even though, you know, they're not much used there. So it's not a huge, spacious vehicle. And if you need a daily driver that's gonna, you know, for like a family, and you got kids that you need to be taking to soccer practice and dance class and things of that nature, then obviously, like, you would need to have another vehicle to do that. But if that's not your situation, or if you have another vehicle, then this would 100% be an amazing daily driver for you, because you could, you know, like I said, it's comfortable, it's easy to live with, it's easy to operate, and you know, if you're like commuting, for example, for commuting to work, you know, if you live like, you know, 7 or 8 miles, you know, from your job, you could operate this thing in almost fully electric mode all the time and not have to fill up at all. So you can kind of get some of the savings generated with that as well. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I can share with you with this car, but I mean, it's a head turner. It's a unique car. You know, as I'm driving this car and I get to a traffic light, I can't tell you how many people, you just kind of see them like looking at the car. You know, so that's, you know, one thing to be aware of if you drive this car, because of its amazing looks first and foremost, and also it kind of being a unique vehicle. You know, you're gonna be the center of attention. So some people may like that, some people may not, but just be warned. Summary, what's my final verdict on this car? This car is absolutely amazing. I would 100% recommend it if you're in the market for a car at, you know, $60,000 or $70,000, which is what the going price for these is now. I can't really think of another car that would give you the combination of kind of being unique and exotic. So exotic looks, exotic driving experience, unique driving experience, it being a hybrid, and also the easy to live with factor that, you know, you would have to compromise with many other types of performance vehicles. So if you're in the market for a car and your budget's in the $60,000 to $70,000 range, you may really want to consider this particular car. I don't think you're going to be disappointed. So, thumbs up. Alright, thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. Leave a comment below and stay tuned for more videos. Thanks, guys.